Hey everyone, welcome back to Intentional Improvement, where we are here to intentionally improve your life by one conversation at a time. I've got an absolute rock star of a guest on here who was formerly a high performing anchor who went off to start a number of businesses, high successful businesses, and then sold them and is now in the world of helping business owners establish their business and brand through storytelling. I have with me Molly Gomez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am excited to have you on. So your story is just, it's incredible because a lot of people don't leave an industry that they have mastered to go into something that they've never done and then, leave that to do something else they've never done. But you are just a high performer and an accelerator in everything you do. So I know your story, but I would like the audience to know, how did you get into becoming an anchor? And then when did you decide to build businesses? And then how you got where you are today?
Yes. Oh, gosh. I always start with long story short because we don't have all day. But I really got into the news industry to tell people's stories, really give everyone a voice, and really the underdog, the ones that were like, oh, my story really doesn't matter. I always had this affinity for telling other people's stories. Well, the news has its own agenda. If it bleeds, it leads, doom and gloom. It's always fear-based. And it felt like it took so much out of me to get my foot in the door because it's very competitive. Mm-hmm. And then when I finally got in, I looked around and I was, what's happening here? Because I thought being on TV, being able to give other people a voice was something, I'm like, this is going to be great. And don't get me wrong, there was so many great things about it, great adrenaline rush. I got to fly a plane, go live in a hot air balloon, paraglide. There were so many fun things I had to do. And of course, there was a lot of heartbreaking stories I had to cover. So it really gave me a heart for people. And that's a whole nother story as far as what the news industry did to me personally that I had to recover from for a couple of years. But as I was in about 5 years, I was in the news industry. There was a point where the whole time I actually was not making very good money. Nobody really realizes that. And even I remember one of my last news jobs with a ton of overtime, I was making $40,000 a year. That's it. And at that point, I believe I was living in Washington State, but still, I had to open up 3 credit cards to survive, to just go home to see family for the holidays if I had it off, buy clothes to be on air with that I would tend to get personally ridiculed about because viewers didn't like them. It's crazy. But I realized, you know what? I need to start doing something in the pockets of my time. So I found network marketing, and network marketing really gave me a taste of being around people who wanted to grow themselves personally and professionally, and then be able to have a product that they could stand behind and share it. Super simple. And I loved it. I had great mentors. It was a lot of fun. And I started to have a health transformation, a mindset transformation myself. Well, the news industry didn't like that. And they basically started to push back on it. You can't share this stuff. And I was being who I am, says who? And they didn't like that because they're like, oh, here's somebody who can think for themselves. Mm-hmm. We don't want that. We want somebody who's going to fit in the program. So that started this downhill slide of me basically pushing back on their narrative. There was times they would tell me, hey, you need to change the information in the story because we want it to sound like this. And I would say, that's not truthful. And they said, well, this is what we want. And I said, no. And I would walk out and my story would air. So they just didn't like it. So I remember one day, I'm working a ton of overtime. I'm about ready to go into my last overtime shift, but I didn't know it would be my last. And I get an email from my news director saying, you need to come into the office. And basically he said, you no longer work here anymore. You need to pack up your things and leave. And then an email went out within seconds telling everybody, Molly no longer works here anymore. And it was like this burden that just lifted that was, oh, okay. I knew I needed to go. I just didn't know when. And then I'm like, what am I going to do now? But I remembered how this, part-time little side gig that I created, what it did for me mentally. And it opened up so much of, I can create my own hours, do my own thing. I don't have to answer to anybody. And all I have to do is go out and talk to people and see if this is a fit. And that's my personality anyway. I was like, done deal. So within a few weeks, I basically packed up my car and anything that didn't fit, I sold. And I moved to Southern California with $2,000 in my bank account. And for anybody who knows the prices of Southern California, that does not go very fast. So it was couch hopping, staying with friends, family, figuring it out. And so I have started many different businesses, as you had mentioned, to figure out what is going to be my vein. But ultimately, it's helping people. And with my skill set of being able to speak well and very effectively, back then, social media stories, Instagram stories, reels were not a thing. But basically, the news prepared me for that because you have to speak in 15, 30, 60-second bites is what they call them. And so being able to carry that into any industry that I went into to help people with what I do now, which is helping them craft their signature story and pulling out the gold, as I like to say. A lot of people don't even know what's inside of them until somebody starts asking, and then they start talking. So that is kind of where I'll take a pause. But I tell people from the news to now, I just get to tell stories that actually matter and make a difference.
And you know what? And this makes sense why people are actually gravitating to social media now versus the news networks.
Yes.
Because they know it's scripted and they know it's all based on the narrative that they want to sell.
Right.
So yeah, so I personally don't even watch the news. I actually watch Joe Rogan for the news.
You get great news from there, so why not?
You really do. Yeah, you get a very unbiased opinion.
Yes.
I mean, depending on who the guest is, of course. So back to you figuring out that this was what you wanted to do. So you started a number of businesses and you landed on this. What was it about pulling the stories out of people that you resonated with, and how do you do it?
Ooh, that's a meaty question. So some of the businesses that I had started, so I had, built some teams in network marketing, got into the digital marketing space and really learned how to craft offers, help coaches build and scale. I worked with my now brother-in-law, as I like to say. I worked in his digital marketing agency, which really sparked the, wait a second, if you're coaching on this and you're teaching this, I have a skill set that everybody needs. And if you can be a more impactful speaker, a better communicator, that is going to help your business like through and through, because being a more impactful communicator is one of the highest paid skill sets that you can have, period. So the light bulb moment went on and I started building my own consulting business on the side. And my first consulting business that I had, this was back in, gosh, when did I start that? I think I started that maybe in like 2018, I want to say. But then God had different plans. So I was going to the peak of my career, like making more money than I've ever made, loving what I do. And basically like the Lord was like, we're shutting it down. And I'm like, excuse me, what? Like, what are we doing? He brought in a global membership that I helped co-founded and created that basically served as a place where people can get kingdom-minded professionals to help them grow personally and professionally. And I was like, oh, this is something that's really needed. And so shut the door on my consulting completely. That wasn't like an easy walk away. That was like I was fighting with God for at least like a year. Like, seriously, like we can't bring this back. And it's like crickets, didn't hear anything. So I was building this membership, poured everything I had into it. My husband and I sacrificed a lot to build that. I gleaned so much. I learned so much. It was so humbling. I helped so many people all around the world. And there were so many different ways that people could learn when they came in. It was primarily geared towards women. And I did a lot of coaching in there as well from different academies or courses or live calls. And it was always centered around helping people pull out their story. Like that was always a theme for me because I'm like, look, you have something to say. Why are you so scared to say it? Like move past that. So that is a big part of my journey of being in there. And it equipped me as a business owner. It helped me teach thousands of people all over the world, different nationalities, backgrounds, you name it. And so it was very fulfilling. But with this rebirthing of my consulting company now called Signature Story Co., it's like this whole new angle of really being able to be honored and humbled to listen to people's stories, having them feel I'm safe with you. And I can share this and I'm not going to get ridiculed or get any backlash or in fear of what people might say. A lot of my clients are like, wow, I just feel so safe with you. I feel like I could like tell you anything. And you pair that with just however the Lord wants to move in the session. It's like, Lord, what do you want from this? Because I'm very much of the mindset, you've given me this gift. You get to like use me. It's not about what I can do.
Yeah.
Your gifts will make room for you. Your gift isn't like, oh, look at me. It's really so, Jesus can shine through you.
That's big because you have to feel safe to be creative. Like the
Yes.
real artisan in you comes out when you feel safe and you feel like you're in a safe space. But you said something that I want to unpack, and then we're going to move over to how you help people to tell their story. So I'm curious about this. How do you take somebody who is an okay communicator and turn them into an effective communicator?
There's always more when it comes to speaking, always more. And what I have found, even for most of the people that I serve, already have successful businesses, but they have been hiding behind the business, too scared of building that personal brand. And we've been hearing about personal branding forever. Yet so many people don't do it because there is a fear, there's a lock, or I don't really need to do that. Well, how people buy these days, they need more transparency and vulnerability than ever because we've been duped by the government, by so many different entities,
By the news.
by so many different people. And so it's just like, no, I'm going to need some more transparency and some more vulnerability to decide, like, do I really click with you? Do I want to stay with you, or do I just want to hop to the next thing? Because loyalty is something that has been lost for a lot of people, because they're like, well, I'll just go to something else, unless you create that emotional bridge. And that's a big part of what I do. So helping people pull out in their personal brand the emotional bridge, like really dig deep. Not just, why do you want to do what you want to do? What's your why? What's your reason? Like really dig deeper so you can build that bridge. And so that really helps people connect with their audience. And I love to say there is a huge difference between being a public speaker and a great communicator. Public speakers are pretty much about themselves. How did I do? How did I look? Like, how was that? But great communicators they're focused on, did I shift the atmosphere? What did you get out of it? Like, how did I make something happen for you in that moment?
How can you tap into the audience's imagination and get them to think that they can be where they want to go?
Yes. And so a lot of people, they can sense the BS, and they're like, so you need to go deeper. So it's going deeper, but it's taking that time and creating that place.
Do you think that's how they really create raging fans, is when that person can finally see themselves in the place that they want to be because the speaker allowed them to see that vision?
Yes. It's that light bulb moment that goes on of like, oh my gosh, I caught it. Like, I caught that this time. They may have heard it 1,000 times, but it was in that moment, the soil, it was fertile, and now something starts to sprout.
So what I'm hearing is trust and authenticity is the new currency.
Of course, yes. And being able to be vulnerable and just open up that space and not worry. Like, you're going to repel people. If we learned anything with, the recent tragedies that have hit our nation, if we've learned anything from that, is you are going to repel and you're going to attract people. Start talking. Share your opinion. People, unfortunately, will grasp an opinion and call it theirs, so they have that secondhand experience rather than creating something firsthand. But if they're going to do something secondhand, it might as well be something that is good. So start talking.
Yeah. What's crazy is, I know Alex Hormozy said this, if you have a belief but you can't explain why it's your belief, it's not your belief, it's someone else's. So a lot of people after this, and I have seen so much darkness these last few days, but I've also seen true character as well. And now the polarity has been a great thing, because it really just filters out the people that you don't want to be with anyways.
Right.
That's been a blessing, honestly. It really has. And, I know it is a sensitive topic, but since we are on this page of faith, Charlie Kirk's death as a martyr was required. We are seeing now that it has been the absolute movement that the world has needed.
Yes.
And we're starting to see who has a lot of demons in their closets.
100%. We needed that transparency. We needed the curtain pulled back to see where people really are. And the old me, probably several years ago, would have been fiery, just back at everybody else. But the spiritual maturity that has grown is, I have compassion for people. I feel for people. It's like you are blinded by rage or pride or offense. Or a lot of believers that I know, they're mourning. They're mourning because there's something inside of them saying, what am I doing to leave my mark? If Charlie taught us anything, it's to be unapologetic about whatever you stand for. Unapologetic. And stewarding the talents that you've been given. And really, what are you doing with that to multiply that? Or are you just sitting on them saying, I'll get to it later? Yeah. Well, things are speeding up. Time's speeding up. So time is of the essence. So you need to get in there. And so that really was a huge takeaway that I received. And I know so many others did as well from this.
Yeah, absolutely. So just based off your statement, I'm thinking of two things from the Bible. Number one, a wise man has a lot of patience, that they have a long nose that doesn't get red. And number two, parable of the talents.
Yes.
He did not bury his talents, and God kept blessing him. And a lot of people, they're afraid to show their talents or the money, gift, whatever they have, a fear of causing polarity, but I think you must have that.
Yes.
I think you must have that. And, a lot of times, too, when you showcase what you stand for and you can explain why you stand for it, you're going to bring people to that side. And I think that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to contribute to the people. You're supposed to speak your truth. Well, there's only one truth. It's Jesus, right? But you're supposed to speak your opinion of the truth and bring people to your side, the right side. And I think now we are seeing people stand up, become more bold, more faithful, and it is a choice. Living in fear is a choice. Living in faith is a choice. The polarity is necessary. It's necessary to bring the fans, to showcase why you stand for what you stand for, and if you can explain to the other person why they should also stand with you, you're going to bring them to the right side. So for you, storytelling, it is so difficult to storytell. It's a whole formula. How do you help people storytell their story in a way that it resonates with the audience to cause that polarity?
I have specific frameworks that I typically will walk people through to really be able to do a little bit of digging themselves. It actually blows my mind when most people that I work with are business owners, of course, because they want to be able to use it to draw in clients. It blows my mind that somebody will not even take like 3 seconds to figure out what their story is and how they're going to talk about it. Yet they're like, why is nobody buying my program or buying from me or this and that? And I'm just like, because you don't have any connection there. You're just trying to like throw something out into the marketplace and seeing what sticks. It's a lot of deep diving and taking that time to really like sit in it with people of where did this all begin? Like, why are you even wanting to do this now? And then really like asking them, what's the new commitment you're making to yourself? Because clearly you were listening to fear and you were listening to other people and you were listening to all the things that have stopped you up until this point. Are we done with that? And like, I have to get really bold and kind of push back on it because I'm like, you either say yes and do it or you're wasting your time and my time. And I value my time and I know you value yours. So what's your new commitment and what can I help you hold you accountable to? Because a lot of people need accountability. They truly do, because otherwise they are just going to be another failed program because they didn't do anything. So it's really digging in deep, of course, asking why they want to do it, but it's even asking their story. How did you overcome what you're trying to lead people through? And then it exposes what you've really overcome. It also can expose, oh, I still have some areas of healing, which is totally normal. We're not all healed. Or really realizing, wow, I really have come through a lot. Oh my gosh, I've been selling myself short. A lot of people sit in that camp. They don't even realize how, I like to call expensive they really are. All that they have gone through, all the trials, everything that they have gone through, like you're expensive, like you're refined into the place that you are now. And that's not cheap. That is not cheap.
Why do you think people discredit themselves so badly, even though their story is a powerful one?
If they do it before somebody else does, then it doesn't hurt as much.
Okay. There's a lot of people who say, well, somebody's already done it. What do you tell them?
There's billions of people out there. If you're letting fear hold you back of, oh, the market's already saturated with this. Like, let's take fitness like professionals, for example, like that. There's so many coaches out there that teach on how to be healthy, how to eat, how to work out, all of that. You can find it all free on YouTube, ChatGPT. However, people buy you. They buy who you are, how you make them feel, how they have that connection with you. So you're already, again, selling yourself short if you're like, oh, this is already saturated. I know there's a lot of people out there that can help people walk through their story. To be honest, you could go to ChatGPT and it can tell you how to create your own story. Go for it. Have fun. You're doing it because there's accountability, there's feedback that you're getting from somebody, and there's an accountability in a way that a human can dig and pull out rather than just going online. But you resonate with that person, you feel safe, there's a connection there. So in the rise of technology, AI, all of that, there's also a huge skyrocketing of people wanting human connection more than ever because they feel so disconnected of, I can just go ask ChatGPT, which is, to be honest, making a lot of people a little dumb because they're not using their creative brain that God has given them, and they're just going and asking ChatGPT for everything.
And it still hallucinates, so it's not accurate. It still hallucinates.
Yes.
So, all right, you've helped your client find the aha moment. What now?
Once we create the aha moment, then you kind of have to beat it like a dead horse. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Now go put it out there. I want you to go do a podcast about it. I want you to go do a short about it. I want you to go do a reel about it. I want you to go put stories up about it. I want you to go tell 10 people about it. Like, I'm putting them to work. I'm not just going to be like, okay, this is great. Here we go. It's like, no, you're going to work.
Get in the reps.
Yes, because a lot of people are so scared. No, I have to go talk to people. Yes. You have to go talk to people.
It is the people business.
I'm like, if you don't have that, and then it's like, oh, you need help with networking, you need help talking to people, then that's a whole nother route. But at the end of the day, it's mind-boggling how people want to serve people, but they don't want to talk to people. I'm like, how do you expect this to work? I don't actually understand. And how's that working for you? Oh, it's not. Okay. So it's getting in the reps so then they can hear themselves say it. And then I just have them repeat it to me via voice message over and over and over again. And then I have them every day have an alarm set for 10 times a day, say it.
And that's the accountability you're talking about, whereas ChatGPT and AI is not going to give that to you.
Yes, it's part of it, but it just allows them to be accountable to somebody else, but then they're hearing it over and over again, so now they're starting to believe what they're actually saying. Rather than crafting something, spend all this time on it, now it just goes, sits on the shelf, collects dust, I never go back to it again because I don't really believe it, because you haven't said it enough. And so you have to be able to repeat, and then go put it out there. And even if somebody says no, it's not a rejection towards you, and then you have to go through all the feelings and whatnot. And that's okay because those are real, but a lot of those are also not real. Of like you're feeling things because the enemy wants to push you back of saying, I want you to stay over here, because if you stay over here, we can't unlock everything that's meant for you and the people that you're meant to serve. That's where I really get like some righteous anger. I'm like, no, that's exactly what's happening here. We're not doing that. This is what I see. Like, we need to move beyond that.
Yeah, that's the fear over faith. You have to choose the faith first over the fear. I mean, that's all the devil needs, is just to, plant a seed of doubt, and the mind will do the rest.
Yes. Just
Wow.
one little.
Now they're starting to believe that they can do it, right? Where do they plug their story into, their offer, into their speech? How do you have them integrate it into the thing where it's going to get them to the next step, or the client, or getting someone to close on their offer?
Yes. So the story, I mean, they have to say it ad nauseum on all platforms. Specifically for most people, we dive into, based on who you want to serve, what are the top 2 platforms? And if you don't have a podcast, go start one, because honestly, that is just like free advertising. And then people can get that long form content from you, which is really great. So, I mean, I tell them to blast it like at least like 3 times a week, at least. Like main posts, drip it in the stories, and not to be afraid to talk about how they can serve other people. The story is the emotional connection, but I always end up tying it into the offer. Like, your story has to tie into whatever it is that you're offering, and then you have to talk about the offer too. Because you're building that know, like, and trust. You're building this audience, and then people are like, okay, where do I go from here? And if you're not leading me anywhere, then I'm just going to go bounce to the next person who's going to lead me somewhere. That's what's going on in the receiver's brain.
Yeah.
So I always look at the offer. So there's always some business and brand strategy that I tie into this. I just can't help it. It needs to all be congruent. Otherwise, you're going to have all these fragmented patches. And I like things to be linear and to be full circle.
Yeah.
So how does that tie in? How you're going to talk about your story several times a week, and you're also going to talk about your offer, and you're going to invite people. If nobody's commenting, nobody's doing anything, if they're on the newer side, or maybe people just aren't used to hearing this side of you yet, they're maybe shocked, because sometimes that can happen. Go talk to people who you think this might be a good fit for. Or go ask people, I'm not sure if this resonates with you or somebody that you know, but if so, I would love to be connected with them or give you more information. Go put yourself out there to let people know that you're serious. Otherwise, you'll just be like 98% of the coaches out there who make less than $2,000 in their business, don't do anything with it, and they invest almost 90% more than what they make. And then they're like, oh, this doesn't work, because they're not working it.
There's so many coaches out there that really should not be in the coaching space. And I think ever since we saw the rise of AI, we've seen more coaches, like everybody and their mom is a coach, but the difference is they didn't do it themselves.
Right.
You can't do what you haven't practiced.
Yes.
Because I think with the practice too, you find the errors and then you tweak those errors. I can imagine the answer to this, but has there been anybody that this has not worked for?
Actually, my
mastering
very first client who hired me, I was super excited, obviously. I'm like, yes, okay, here we go. It was a multiple 5-figure program. And about halfway into it, I realized she just wanted somebody to talk to. She didn't do anything, didn't work for her. She didn't put herself out there. She didn't go do anything. And I mean, I would say rightfully so. I got really frustrated. I was like, I'm not here just to be a paid friend. Like, this is very awkward for me. But then eventually I'm like, if this is what you want, maybe there'll be something I say that will help get you into action. Never did. And so it never worked because they never put it in action. So as far as I know, because I don't know everything with every single client that I've worked with, my first one was the only one where it didn't work for. But everyone else, there has been significant improvement of just how they have stepped into a leadership role for themselves, to lead themselves first so then they can lead other people in this new venture that they're doing. Also a confidence, clarity, precision in how they talk. So it's been amazing to watch that, because I'm not a teacher by trade, but I love teaching. I love being able to walk people through frameworks and things that work so their brain can get around it and really be able to grasp on it. Not just me telling them what to do, they're figuring it out on their own, because that's true coaching, is ask the questions so they get there, not just tell them, because it won't settle in the same.
So you like witnessing the transformation.
I love it. It's
you
just
like seeing them get to that next level.
I do.
Yeah.
For them, because it's like when you step into what God has for you, everything that gets unlocked. I mean, my podcast that I have, it's called It's Bigger Than Me. And because everything we do is it's bigger than us, like everything we put our hands to. So when I see the light bulbs go off and they're out there doing it and they're sharing things with me and I'm giving them feedback, it's like I'm watching them grow up right before my eyes. And it's the best part, because I let them know right from the beginning, here are my expectations of us together. What are your expectations? And let's go.
Yeah.
Like, there's no gray area. I'm like, you're going to have this more than paid for by the time we're done. You are going to be at this position. This is how we're going to walk through. Like, they know. Like, I'm a very like structured and disciplined person. And as a coach, that does not change because I want that to drip off onto other people because I know how it's made me successful. And I want other people to at least grasp 2% of
And
that.
that goes back to the contribution. We are supposed to contribute to the betterment of people's lives. So there's two statements that I love to recite to myself, especially during those days, which are tough, like that you always have to pray a little harder. One is master being the servant. The second is choose to be in the business of blessing other people. And that's why I just really resonate with the name of your podcast, because when you choose to be on someone else's side and be for them and contribute to their life, you get so much in return. It's more than any dollar could give you. There's filthy rich people out there that are absolutely miserable.
Yes.
But and we have seen it. We saw it just a few days ago. Charlie Kirk, who was incredibly wealthy, died, and he couldn't take anything with him. The only thing he was able to leave was a legacy, and that's it. So, what do you want people to say at your funeral? Because it will happen. It will come, and for some of us, sooner than others.
I think that's a part of the reason why so many people are mourning I can't say so for so long because everybody grieves and mourns differently. But even still, with it being over a week later as we're recording this, is because I think they're like, oh my gosh, like if I were to die today, like there's probably not much that people can say. And that's not for everybody, but the vast majority. And I think that gets on such a deeper level of, gosh, what have I been doing with the things that have been given? Why have I been stuck in fear and this and that? And I know on the other side of the token, because of what happened to Charlie, a lot of people did choose fear of like, oh, I don't want to talk in fear of what if something like that happens to me? I had some people in my life tell me that, being like, well, just be careful because we know you're really public. Be careful what you say. I'm like, if it's my time, it's my time.
It's
like,
the time to be louder.
It's the time everybody wants to like turn up the mic. Pick up the mic if you haven't. Turn it on louder if you haven't.
I love what you said, pick up the mic. There was that meme. There was a GIF said, who will pick it up? And I think Ben Shapiro said he's going to pick it up. But it's the call of the contribution. So, wow, gosh, I got goosebumps.
Ooh. That's always a great feeling.
Wow. Okay, so where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years? So, you've built this incredible business. You are really contributing to people's lives and businesses where they're going to go and contribute to other people's lives and businesses. It's a beautiful cycle happening. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I definitely feel with the rebirthing of this consulting company, God expediting it way faster than I anticipated. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this at this benchmark. And I just hear they're like, yeah, no, you need to do that now. It's like, okay. So I'm really trying to catch up to where he's going. And so I see, thousands of people, like at least going through my in the next 5 years, probably like tens of thousands going through my program. But more than that, how can I take the ones who actually really want to be serious and help do what I do and duplicate myself? Ultimately, as a leader, if you can duplicate yourself, it can go way beyond you. Just like Jesus and the 12, right? He couldn't do it on his own. Mm-hmm. There was 12 disciples. And so from there, millions and millions and millions of people came to know the Lord. So I think of the same of, yes, I have this gift, and sure, may not everybody have my background and experience, but what they do have is a hunger. And I know there's many people that have that hunger. They when you get the taste of unlocking your story, and if you even get the opportunity and blessing to unlock somebody else's, it's just such a beautiful thing to watch it unfold, because the enemy has been after our voice, and it's like this proverbial noose that's been around so many people's necks of, you're not worthy, no one cares, no one's going to listen. So many things that we've been listening to, these lies, when we all have a voice that we can use, all of us. That's a talent I believe everyone's given. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the parable of the talents, some people have 5 talents, some people have 2, and some people have 1. Don't covet the one who has 5. If you have the 1 or the 2, steward what you have. That's what God has given you. We don't need to compare ourselves to the people who have more than us. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. What do you think holds people back from exercising their gift?
To be honest, like the first thing that comes up, there's so much that holds people back. I really believe it's the closest people to them. People not speaking life into that. Instead, they're speaking fear and their own limitations. So then it gets you to be stuck because you're like, well, if my family or my friends or my spouse or the closest people to me don't support me, how can I really do this? And I've had to walk that lonely road, and it's really hard. I cried many nights because of it. Mm. And eventually I just had to get a really thick skin, but have a soft heart of, you know what, that's where you are. But that's not where I'm staying. And that's not what I'm going to listen to anymore. That doesn't serve me. People just haven't gotten to that point where you're willing to lose it all in order to step into what God has for you.
So you've had to accept it. So
Yes.
That's the first stage. So are there certain stages that people have to go through to be able to go from not believing to now speaking out loud. Do you have a formula for taking somebody who does not believe that they have a beautiful gift, and you can see that they do, to getting them to on stage and speaking their gift and exercising it?
Yes, most people, I always start with the mindset, as corny as that may sound to people. It all starts in the mind, winning that war in your mind, creating that winning mindset, and addressing some of the top limiting beliefs that most people have, and realizing your story actually isn't for you. As you share it, it will pour so much back into you, but it's for somebody else. And it's reminding yourself every time you get on the mic, you press record, you're talking with somebody, who can this story serve? Who is this for today?
That's the first thing.
That's the
they
first
have to
thing.
realize it's not for them.
It's not for them, because most people get stuck of, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Now you're being selfish, to be honest. To be blunt, you're being selfish. You're making it about you, not the people that you're serving. So you start there. And then from there, you craft, as people in the business world will call it, the elevator pitch. Let's get something like quick and dirty. Just tell me a little bit, a little bit of what you want to say, who you want to serve. And then we'll craft a line that's, decent. Maybe it's not the final one, but it's going to get the ball rolling. Now go out there and start talking. Mm-hmm. So now they're getting into action. That's step 2, because everybody wants to learn and learn and learn and learn. And actions maybe at the end, but we'll see. I don't want to be held accountable.
That's where the meat and gravy is.
Right. So I'm like, you're going to do that before you're ready. So go. Like birdie out of the nest, your wings aren't even formed. See ya. And they're like, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm here. You're fine.
I'm loving the hand gestures.
I know, I keep knocking the mic. And so it's just like, goodbye. But then from there, then we walk through this story framework that I have to really be able to create a compelling story. And it's anywhere from like a 10-minute story to something you can spit out in 30, 60 seconds. Like you need to be able to say this over and over and over again. And if you can't, then it's not simple enough, because people need to grasp and be able to resonate. Oh, that's mine. Mm-hmm. So then, of course, from there, now that we're crafting and we're practicing something that's more for exactly who they want to target, because there's a refining process. Again, we're doing it messy at first just to get them out, to get there and get in action. And then we really refine it. Then they're starting to, if they have a podcast, you're doing it over and over and over again. If you're not doing guests yet, then you're doing weekly podcasts by yourself talking about it. Like it's your own free commercial. Then you're going out there, how can I get on other people's podcasts? You're going out there, how can I share this with the people in your network to benefit them? Mm-hmm. You're going out there and putting yourself out there. You're also building your network alongside of it. As you and I both know, the more you speak about it, they love to see your following grow before you get on big stages. Of course, they want that part.
And you create authority.
You want to be able to build that credibility and authority, yes. And then from there, as that keeps growing, you get opportunities, because people are like, you're super consistent. I can actually believe what you're saying because there's something to back it up. It's not just this air of, oh, that sounds like a good concept, but I don't feel any weight behind it. Mm-hmm. I don't feel that you actually walked yourself through that. So there's so many steps before you get on a stage. And right now, virtual stages are still like so plentiful and easier, obviously, to get on, because the in-person event space is so different. So different.
And very expensive.
It can get very expensive, yes, especially if you put on your own events, but even being a part of other people's. And I remember like the first time I spoke at a church, and like I pitched myself to a church into a women's Bible study, a women's collective, winter collective, I think that they had.
And you made them an offer at the end.
Made them an offer at the end, but even pitching them and telling them my price. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just do it for free.
You have to.
You have to.
You're doing them a disservice. By you talk about what you know and have, and then you don't offer them something, you've just done everybody a disservice.
Because then it's like, oh, thanks, I'm going to move on.
You've offered them no transformation. And people will pay for transformation.
Yes.
So people who want things free, they just want information. If they pay for it, they want transformation. But, okay, I love that. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Keep going.
Oh, no, you're good. By all means. I don't even know where I was going with that. Now I'm just like, we'll move on to the next.
Okay, so we've talked about building the authority. We talked about building the credibility. Let's talk about if somebody wants to go from the podcast to the stage. How does somebody pitch themselves to get to the stage and become a paid speaker?
There are so many different ways that you can go about becoming a paid speaker. Ultimately, you have to put yourself out there and go and ask and see, okay, who's looking for speakers? What type of speakers are people looking for? So you have to dig. You have to dig, you have to ask, be in the know, try to find people who are maybe even in that world, and then expect no's. Expect no's, because especially as you're coming up and as you're growing your brand, expect no's, but people will appreciate the hunger, and they're always going to remember like, most people won't do that. So that is something where you have to be hungry to go out there and be able to find the events that you actually want to speak at. And then understand, even if you don't get it, like figure out, okay, they hired this person. Why did they hire them? Reverse engineer that. What do they have that I don't? Not out of comparison, but most likely it's experience Could be following, could be notoriety. They want all those kinds of things so it can draw more people and more eyes on what they have, of course. But another method that I learned that I actually really like, and this is super unconventional, but I learned it from my brother-in-law, Adam Flores, an amazing speaker, amazing marketer, business builder. He would, the first time I saw him do this, I was like, you are crazy. He paid to be on people's stages. So he would pay them $5,000 to be the closer at the event, to pitch his offer, knowing that he would probably make six figures on that stage.
That's such a hack.
So put the investment in, because people are like, you want to pay me? You don't want me to pay you? That is going to get them to.
Is that really an unconventional way of getting on stages?
Most people don't want to do that. So people that smart and want to play the long game will, right? Because you're going to say, I'm going to put this $5,000, for example, investment down, but then based on what it is that I'm selling off of the stage, add that up.
God, you get so much from that though, just being on stage. So much.
So that is, and he told us when he's done this so many different times, he's like, I've gone up there and I completely bombed. Like when he first started, didn't make a dime, crickets, and then got better. So that $5,000, for example, is investing into, you know what, I'm going to put it in myself, go out there and see what happens. And then, of course, you want to be able to learn, how can I become a really good closer on stage, connect with the audience emotionally, help them feel like they're walking through this transformation and what's that next step? I want to be able to buy into that. So that right there, I still don't see very many people do that because their money mindset is so poor of like, no, I need to get paid. You will, but do you want to pay the $5,000 and make possibly six figures later? Or do you want to make maybe $1,000 and you don't get to pitch anything?
It's all about them. What has your experience been like? So you get on stages, and how difficult is it to close? And did you need practice to become a good closer?
Oh, yeah. You definitely need practice because, I mean, I've closed on Zooms for feels like tens of thousands of people for different things. And so on Zoom is one thing. In person, obviously, there's a different energy exchange. On stage, all eyes are on you and you're feeling all the different types of emotions. And you have to constantly remind yourself, hey, this is about them. This is about maybe in the audience of 250 people. There might be 20 people in this room that sign up for this offer. That's still worth it, right? This offer of $10,000 or whatever it is. So you have to really work through it. And your first couple times doing that, yeah, you're going to be a nervous wreck. You're probably not going to want to eat for like a week. And then you're just going to be like, just completely crash at the end of it. But it's, again, reminding yourself what you have, people need. How are you going to portray that to them? How are you going to be a painkiller? Because they have a pain point right now. You need to be that painkiller. And this close is about, I'm going to solve your pain with this. And this is how you get started. A lot of people give the vitamin content of like, oh, this is going to make you feel good. No, we're going to solve that pain right now. And this is how we do it. This is how we do it. So yes, have I gone on stage and completely flopped? Of course. I would not sit here and tell you that I haven't, because I have. I have flopped many times. But I continue to get better because I'm not afraid of putting myself out there and seeing what's possible. Even if they say no, you just keep going until you get that break, and then you just crush it. You give it all that you have.
And the pain and the flops is probably where you have the biggest learning opportunities.
Of course. Without those, you feel like you're untouchable, and then you just become cocky, and nobody has time for that.
You know what? Yeah, there's some speakers, you watch them speak and you can just smell the arrogance. And it really is like a repellent. And then you see those who, like Omar El-Khoury or Neil Dhingra, they are all about service and servitude. And it's like, you're just drawn to them. You just feel good. But yeah, the arrogance, the pride, you see it, and people are too smart to know these days. And
Yes.
so, those people that have information but gatekeep the secrets, they underestimate how smart people really are. Mm-hmm. And if you won't be the one to give them the secrets, they're going to go find somebody else who will, and then that person's going to earn a raving fan.
The fact that people, even 2025 people, like if you're gatekeeping, seriously, the internet has, nothing's new under the sun.
Yeah.
Everything is out there on the internet. The differentiator is you, your brand, and how you can build that connection with people. And if you don't have something that's building that connection, forget it. The only thing that's going to separate you is your personal brand. And if you're not out there like being a voice for the people or pouring into people, and not just being this cheap motivation or inspiration. I mean, we have a zillion quotes that cross our timeline every single day. I'm like, I don't need somebody else to tell me that. I need somebody else to speak truth. Get me to think differently. Let me see a different perspective. Even have a healthy debate every once in a while. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of a healthy debate, and actually, even at the end of it, agree to disagree. That is more than okay. That is healthy, and that helps you expand your brain, your creativity, and even just people you can connect with, because people are used to, oh, we don't agree, see ya.
I love being challenged.
I can tell.
I love it because that's where the growth is. There's no growth and comfort in something I already know. Now, if I firmly disagree with that person, I'm still going to listen and try to understand their point and empathize with them also, because I think that there's learning and growth and expansion in all of that. Where there's no expansion is if you think you know everything, and your brain is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. If you can't open it up, it's not going to work.
Yes. Yes.
So why do you think people gatekeep? Like, we know that AI, the internet, has everything already out there. Why do you think they like hold on to these secrets?
It really just comes down to fear and pride. Like, if they really want that, then they'll pay me for it. You know, I actually have tested this out on so many different programs. I've completely given it away for free, done trainings for free, and then people still come in and pay for it.
Oh, they want you more.
Yeah, because you're like, if you're going to give that much away, like, what am I going to get if I pay for this? So there is a fear of, oh, what if I don't get any clients? And there's also a pride of like, no, I'm not going to just give it to you for free. You're not pouring and you're not giving anything. You're not watering the soil before you're expecting something from it. And people expect that. There's so much free stuff out there. They're expecting you to do that. That's why we live in a world of so many freebies and challenges and just giving things away. I mean, even podcasting, there's so much that you can get growth-wise, business, mindset, relationships, you name it, from just podcasts in and of itself. But then it's like, do you resonate with that person and do you want to go deeper? The other person obviously has to ask like yes or no, but these people that gatekeep, they want to put that guard up thinking it's helping them. And show me somebody who gatekeeps and has success in their life. I would be so curious. So anybody that's listening to this, let me know. That would be mind-boggling.
I'm actually thinking, do I know anybody that gatekeeps and hasn't bombed in their career? Actually, I know several who have gatekept and bombed, and I'm not going to say who they are, but they are not doing well anymore. If anything, there's a lot of backlash. I'll never forget, there was a mechanic or a plumber who went on YouTube and like just started giving all these secrets away, right? And his business just boomed because he would teach people how to do the thing, even though he was a professional. But people were like, oh my gosh, he's giving it away for free. I want to hire him. And then his business took off. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the secret sauce, is just giving people what they want, and then they're going to come back to you for more. And you may give it away for free, but when you do, they just want access to you now.
Yes.
They want to pick your brain. They want to talk to you. They want to have those real, raw conversations with you. So, yeah, I do agree with you, just giving it away for free. And then also, when you teach, you learn. Mm-hmm. You learn a lot when you teach. Whenever I teach, I learn my errors. I learn my own faults, what I could have done better. I could have said that better. I could have shortened that up. Sometimes I talk too much and I'm like, oh man, how could I have said that in 30 seconds? But there's a lot that comes with teaching and just giving things away for free.
I always love to say generosity is contagious. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is just going to be generous, like somebody wants to pay it forward, hey, I have the next like 3 people in line, Starbucks or whatever, and it just keeps going, or we're giving away trade secrets away for free. Because people are getting it for free, but they've had that experience of like, wow, that's so generous. Like that plumber, for example. That's so generous of you. Now I want to hire you because I know you're a good person. Mm-hmm. And I want good people in my home, good people to work on the thing. I'd rather pay for that than just some Joe Schmo out of the, whatever directory. So that is so contagious, and it should hopefully turn the light bulb moment on for others of you can literally, again, give everything away for free and people will still come back for more. They will still want more. They want that access. They want that proximity. If you can do that, how can I do that? Because part of them sees themselves, especially in the coaching world, if you give that away for free and these people want to become coaches or want to be able to build their brand or tell their story, if you can do that, maybe I can, maybe. And it just has to be a little fraction of a turn, like, and then it takes that and then let's fan that and move. So if anybody ever feels like maybe I can, you better run with that so quick before the enemy comes in, is like, halt, let's stay where we're at because it's safe.
That's why action is very important, to do it. So if you learn something, just do it immediately. Because I think the longer you sit on it, like the less likely you will be to do it.
You have to move quickly. And success loves speed. I mean, we've talked about that before when we started recording. It's like you have to be able to move quickly so you don't get stuck, or you never know what can happen by just moving without, what do they call it? It's like ignorance on fire, something like that, or knowledge on ice. It's like ignorance on fire, knowledge on ice is a phrase, something like that. It's like, just go. You may not know everything, but just do it to the best of your ability and things will start to be highlighted as the next step. Mm-hmm. And that's our faith journey, right? It's like we don't have the full scope because God doesn't want to give that to us yet. Because if we did, there's no point in faith. It's trusting that he's going to highlight that next step. So, same thing. It's like with faith, I heard this phrase not that long ago, delayed obedience is disobedience.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, just like let that sit. And it's like, ooh. And I've heard so many people in this season come to even me specifically saying, okay, I know I need to build this business. I know I need to put my story out there. I've been sitting on it for some years or over a decade. And they're like, now's the time. I'm like, yeah, now's the time. Years or a decade? I'm like, what do your insides look like? Like, just not like saying no to that for so long.
So in your experience, what is the difference between your own conscious mind speaking to you and the Holy Spirit?
I'm always, Lord, is this you? Is this you? So the old me would just be like, let's do it and run, right? Speed. I'm very fast at taking action. But as I've become wiser in my walk with the Lord, is that me? Is that you? We're kind of sounding similar here. I think it's me. So I'm going to wait until you show me. And having that wisdom to wait and to be still, to then have him know. Because one of the things that I've been really learning, I've been diving into the book of Ezekiel, and God was so specific with Ezekiel of what he wanted him to do to show the Israelites, this is what they're going to have to do. And I'm like, what kind of quiet time does he have with the Lord where he gets that full, like, you need to do this and that kind of detail? I'm like, my mind was blown. And I usually will hear, like, I think a fraction of a word and then just go, how much am I missing? Because I'm so quick to take action. So this is the other side, rather than sitting and waiting and getting the full picture. So I'm constantly like, Lord, is that you? Is that me? And then if it's like anything that's not of the fruit of the Spirit, if it's causing fear, doubt, anxiousness, confusion, I know it's the enemy. And then I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
So that is pretty clear for the most part to know when it's the enemy. But the others, sometimes I do have to sit there and just be like, and then other times I just know. It's like this knowing and this feeling of like, okay, let's do it. And we need to do it quickly and just get it done. So
That's really good advice. I mean, that was even a question for me because I struggle with knowing, like, is this my own mind or is this, God? But you are right. If it gives you tempt, because it's not that he will not tempt, he cannot tempt. It's not that God will not lie, he cannot lie, because he is the truth, the way, and that's it. If it causes tempt, doubt, fear, anything negative, it's not him. So that was good. Now I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
all right.
Everybody wants to leave a legacy behind. What legacy do you want to leave behind?
So people know that their story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else, whatever that may look like. Maybe it's just to your kids. Maybe it's to a couple neighbors. Maybe it's to thousands or millions of people. Your story, what you have overcome, is meant to mentor other people, to show them what's possible on the other side. And I want as many people to know that, believe that, stand in that. And that's a legacy I want to leave of, you know what? It does matter. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to listen to anything or anyone else that whispers otherwise.
Love that. Knowing what you know today, what would you go back and tell your 20-year-old self?
Be patient. Be so patient.
So much easier said than done.
Oh my gosh. It's like praying for patience. Like, don't do that. Just don't do that. It's like one of those prayers you do not want to pray. But be patient, because my 20-year-old self thought I would be probably, at this point, of course, married with multiple kids and like just moving on. Because I got into entrepreneurship so I could have freedom when we started our family. Now being 35, no kids, I get asked all the time, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? I'm like, you can ask the Lord, because I don't know. But I will tell you what, I'm going to be as selfish with my time, grow in wisdom, learn, break off things that need to break off. So by the time the kids are ready to come, like, it's just going to be, it'll just be better.
And they get the best version of you.
The best version. So yeah, just be patient, because a lot of those timelines that you conjured up in your mind, none of that happened.
In due time, and it's not, we can't dictate that time.
Right.
It's not for us to decide. My last question, my favorite question. Everyone talks about filling up their cup and to give back to the world, but they never talk about what they put in their cup to pour out. What would you want to put into your cup to pour out to the people? Just
specifically people and like listening to this, or just anybody?
Anybody you come in contact with.
What do I want to pour out? One of the best things that I learned to do for myself as somebody who's a doer, who constantly just came out of I can't say came out of a family, but came out of this cloud that's been over my life of performance. Everything's performance-based, have to be the best, have to be a couple steps ahead, all of those types of things. I never really, truly am like, oh, I'm good. I don't need to pour into myself. The best thing that I can pour out into others is what I'm about to share as a way that you can pour into yourself. And that is non-negotiable time, spending it in the secret place, solitude, peace, quiet, intentional, like no phone, no nothing, just to be with the Lord and allow whatever he wants to share with you. Like, let him share that divine strategy, wisdom, filling your cup. And when you do that, especially when you do that starting your day, you find pouring out into the other buckets of your life, it is so much more smoother. You have so much more grace, compassion for people because you're not starting your day on a pot of coffee, rushing to work, and everything's just acidic and chaotic. You're starting with a full cup. And honestly, you never really are satiated when you're with the Lord. Like you're constantly hungry for more. But I've done that and have woken up very early for several years now, like dark and early. For some people, it'd be in the middle of the night to have that time uninterrupted. And it's done wonders for myself, for the relationships, for my marriage, for businesses that I've been in, to be more still, to have more clarity, and to know, Lord, what direction do you want to go in? And is this you or is this me? Because beforehand I was not quiet and it was all me and I just went, led my own self, and that led me into the ground because I was on my own strength.
I've never asked that question, is this you or is this me? That is such a great question because then it makes you sit down and think.
And then you're starting to learn, how does the Lord speak to you? And a lot of people, how do I know? How do I know? Well, ask. Some people, it's a feeling. Some people, I've actually heard the Lord audibly in my life, like verbally say something to me. I'm like, whoa, like couple times.
Loud, and it's loud.
And he'll speak through his words. So if you're not hearing him, open up the Bible and like allow the words to like come to you. If the Bible doesn't make sense to you, because maybe you're like a newer believer, like go to the YouVersion Bible app, open up some devotionals on there, get specific with what you want to target. There's always a way. There's always a way, but people they're expecting a certain way, and maybe that's not the way. So you have to release your expectations and, Lord, what do you want?
There's no right way. Yeah. I loved what Charlie said. I know that, it wasn't supposed to be a topic of discussion, but, it's just so we're on that same channel and wave right now. But Charlie said something that I'll never forget, and I want to live it deeper, and I want to live it very loudly. He said, I'm far more interested in what God wants from me than I want from God.
And that's from a place of wisdom right there. And most people use prayer as a wishing well. Lord, I want. Why won't you fix this? Rather than a place of communion and conversation and building the relationship. It's like, imagine having a spouse that you never talk to. That's not going to work out.
Yeah.
And that's the closest person to you. So it's relationship over religion. There's a lot of believers, a lot of churches out there where they operate on religion and their rules because I don't know if they're too scared to have a relationship or they just don't know. I have no idea. But we get to be an example of what a relationship looks like that's full of love, grace. We're not perfect, but we meet people where they're at. Because if you don't meet people where they're at, they're just going to think, like, I'm just going to write you off because you think you're better than me, and they'll fill in the gaps of whatever they think. Rather than, I want to meet you where you are, and maybe one day there'll be a little opening. But if that opening opens up the door to save your soul, and that takes 10 years, then so be it.
And when you meet where they're at, you create that safe space for them to be,
Yes.
of course, the artisan they were always meant to be.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
This has been an incredible interview. I know I've learned a lot. You've dropped a lot of just absolutely amazing wisdom nuggets, so I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
I'm floating around all online, so you can find me on Instagram, Molly_Trotter, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, my podcast, It's Bigger Than Me, which, of course, you will be a guest on. I cannot wait to have you because this has been such a treat to be on your podcast.
Thank you.
You're a lovely host. You ask amazing questions
Thank you.
just to really help people like sink in and like really grab something from the interview. There's a lot of people that just ask to kind of like help things move by, but you're so intentional with what it is that you ask and what it is that you do. So I'm honored to be a guest on your podcast.
Thank you very much. Well, Molly, this is not going to be the last time you're on the show, but I want to say thank you very much for taking, especially as you said before coming on, moving things around to be here. It's been an honor to have you on, and I just can't thank you enough for sharing your wisdom stripes.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, until the next time, see you in the next episode.